We are so very happy to be here with all of you this evening, especially, fingers crossed, let's not even speak of it. We don't want to jinx it. My name is Betsy Camerood, and I am the Director of Full Circle and Counseling Services at Hospice Savannah. On behalf of our President and CEO, Dr. Kathleen Benton, and the Hospice Savannah staff, I welcome each of you to the Demery Center for Living and the 32nd Annual Tree of Light ceremony. I would especially like to thank our guest performers for taking their time to provide wonderful healing music for us tonight. I have heard them practice, and it is truly magnificent. I would also like to thank Chrissy Joy of Flow of Light Studio for providing the ritual sound during the reading of the names. It is our honor tonight to share this time in your grief journey with you. We hope that this service will be healing and that some solace will be found. As we prepare for the rest of the service, I encourage you to take a deep breath and slowly let it out as you become present in this moment with your memories and the spirit of your loved one. Mary Oliver wrote, "I would say that there exists 1,000 unbreakable links between each of us and everything else, and that our dignity and our chances are one. The farthest star and the mud at our feet are a family. We are each other's destiny. Remember that we have all joined a club that no one ever wanted to join, but we can hold the light for each other as we find our way along this journey. As a community, we can heal. Again, welcome, and thank you for being here."
Good evening. My name is Dr. Sarah Plaspole, and I currently serve as chair of the Hospice Savannah Board of Directors. On behalf of the Hospice Savannah Board and our other affiliated boards, I welcome you to the 2023 Tree of Light ceremony. Hospice Savannah is an integral part of the Savannah community, and we are proud of the services from diagnosis through the grief journey that we are able to provide. I have a special place in my heart for Hospice Savannah. For me, the love began 15 years ago when Hospice Savannah provided support for my mother with dementia, and 10 years ago for my father-in-law with cancer. So it is truly an honor to be here tonight. Thank you to all of you who took the time and thought to make a donation to continue the vital grief support programs of Full Circle Grief and Loss Center. I especially want to thank the presenting sponsors, Gulfstream, a General Dynamics company, and Charles and Jan Vandenbulk. I also want to acknowledge those who sponsored what I know will be wonderful musical offerings tonight: Sterling Seacrest Pritchard, Mr. Fred B. Simmons, and the John and Emma Durst Foundation. Without all of you, our bereavement programs would not exist as they are today. I hope this evening provides some peace in this holiday season. Again, thank you and welcome.
Lift me up, hold me down, keep me close, safe and sound. Burning in a helpless dream, hold me when you go to sleep. safe and sound. Lift me up, hold me down, keep me close, safe and sound. Drowning in an endless sea, take some time and stay with me. Keep me in the strength of your arms, keep me safe, safe and sound. Lift me up, hold me down, keep me close, safe and sound. Burning in a hopeless dream, hold me when you go to sleep. Keep me in the warmth of your love. When you depart, keep me safe, safe and sound. Lift me up, hold me down, keep me close, safe and sound.
My name is Michael Ciccarelli. I'm a bereavement counselor for Hospice Savannah. It's going to be hard for me to follow that beautiful rendition of Lift Me Up. But I wanted to take a moment to honor the children who have been grieving. I titled this The Death Next Door. I would like to take a moment to bring us back to when we were children, a time where we were free of worry or sadness or grief, or perhaps that's how we like to remember it. Although we as a society like to idealize childhood as this period of bliss, but this is often not the case. Countless children have bear witness to deaths of those they are close to, and I wanted to share a story of my friend and mentor, Dennis Wilds. Dennis was my neighbor and friend when I was a child. In 2004, I had a school assignment to talk about a hero of mine, and Dennis came to mind. Dennis was a Marine Corps veteran of the Korean War and was an expert hunter. This was at a time when I was interested in hunting. He taught me how to shoot, field hunting dogs, dress game, and be one with the forest. He taught me respect for nature and respect for the creatures we share our world with, all with the companionship of his trusty Brittany Spaniel, Freckles. These are pretty typical activities in rural Pennsylvania, so what makes it so special? Well, Dennis taught me all these things while he was suffering from stage 4 small cell lung cancer. Dennis had a lot of life and loved life so. Unfortunately for him, he was not long for this world. Although this wasn't my first experience with death, but my first intimate experience with death and what dying looked like firsthand. I was 11 at the time and relatively naive to what this process entails. To see such a strong person begin to wither away was a jarring realization for my young mind. How can someone become so weak or succumb to the enemy, which was cancer? I came to come to an understanding that this is a natural part of life. For months, I observed this illness begin to sap Dennis's energy slowly away. Our time together grew shorter and shorter as time went on, until my mother told me that Dennis could no longer spend time outside and said that he was very angry. I could understand why he was angry. He did not want to die. There are so many emotions surrounding the dying process as well as death itself, many of which can be very confusing. A common misconception is that children have less of an intuitive understanding of death. My mother helped me understand these complicated emotions surrounding death and the dying process. It is so important to guide our youth during life, but especially so when faced with death. It is important to remember that oftentimes with children, it may be the first time they have had such an experience. For me, this was my first experience, and truthfully, I was not sure how to behave. Is there even a correct way to behave? When Dennis died, I honestly can't remember if I cried at the news or at the funeral. However, I do remember the last time I spoke about this in 2004, I cried reciting my assignment in school. Writing this, I'm unsure if I'll be able to get through it without tears, but if I made it this far, I think I'll be okay. I do remember being lost at this funeral. I wasn't sure how it would all go down. As Dennis was a Marine, many of his burly Marine friends were in attendance, and I was observing these men and women going up to the casket to the funeral to say their goodbyes. I watched a man punch Dennis in the arm, and his emotional display of grief, anger, and whatever other emotions he may have been feeling at the time. So, as an impressionable 11-year-old, I punched my friend Dennis in the arm as well. This was a ritual I observed up until my early 20s, believing this to be the norm. So admittedly, I've been punching dead people for a decade. Another reason why it's so important to talk openly to your children about death. And I just want to thank you all for allowing me to be here with you, and it's been an honor and privilege. Thank you.
My name is August Alderman, and I am a bereavement associate here with Full Circle. How does love live on? What does love become? Maybe a changing tree with each falling amber leaf. Who was it for you? For me, it was her, my grandmother. Many times I memorized my hand in hers, and as I grew, it became her hand in mine. Many times I memorized sitting in her living room in the golden yellow glow. She transitioned almost 10 years ago. Her words, a day before she died, I love you. I love you. I love you. She was smiling so softly and blowing gentle kisses into the air. They are still landing on me through heaven's window. I hold on to her wing like I held on to her screen door, and I won't let go. How does love live on? And what does love become? How can we possibly tell the story of such a life, of someone we have loved? I have found love finds new ways of living. It becomes the energy for something beyond, not to take the place of, but to be the honor of the love. Our love falls down from our eyes in tears. Our love lives on, and it reaches out and grows deeper with the passing of the years. Our love does not forget. We remember. Even when we are hurting, their love is still living. Their words, their smiles, the sound of their voices on the phone, the spirit of their very names, a piece of their essence is encoded on our own. They led us here, right here to this place. On either side of the veil, we are face to face. The delight when we see the world through each other's eyes. Love is living here tonight because you are here. We are gathered. What we have shared will go on past 1,000 goodbyes. How does love live on? And what does love become? Love lives on as we go. Love becomes a time-traveling machine, a trans-rational feeling of connection in between ourselves and our memories. We have loved. We have loved. And love lives on. Who was it for you? For me, it was her, my grandmother. Someday, if I'm an old man, I imagine she will appear so we can sit down side by side. And with this hand, I'll hold hers again. After the hands I've held, the stories I've written, and the fears I set aside, hello and goodbye waves. We can share all the ways love lived on, and all that love still becomes.
Without you, the ground thaws, the rain falls, the grass grows. Without you, the seeds root, the flowers bloom, the children play, the stars gleam, the poets dream, the eagle flies. Without you, the earth turns.
Hello again. It's been a few years since I have actually had to write a piece for this service. We've been wonderfully lucky and have had many wonderful individuals who have shared their stories, and I am grateful to all of them. I noticed a few years ago that I am now at an age where at least one significant person in my life is going to die every year. Usually at least two. When I realized this, I first wondered how I had gotten that old. I seriously did not think I would make it past 30, in all honesty. But that's a different story. Then I began to notice some cognitive dissonance surrounding the emotions I was having. As a bereavement counselor, I, of course, tried to ignore those feelings. Then I found a guided meditation by Rashi Joan Halifax. Her meditation started like this, and I encourage all of you to take a deep breath and let it out slowly and settle our heartbeats a little in order to hear this. May I be open to the pain of grief. May I be open to the sorrow of grief. May I be open to what comes up. That hit me where I lived. Ouch. Okay, I thought, I can do this. I am open to my sorrow. I will be open to what comes up. But what if what comes up is the need for some Leopold's ice cream hourly? But that's okay, really, for maybe a minute. But what also came up was the fact that I have never been good with change. And deep down, a lot of us aren't. Then I remembered a quote from Eminem. This is for the Gen Xers in the audience. He wrote, "You don't know what is going to happen. Life is a crazy ride, and nothing is guaranteed." So I learned that I could find ways to stay present in the moment because I can't live in the past. And I, no matter how much I want to, can't create the total picture of the future that I want. As I've attempted to stay in the moment, I found myself being pleasantly surprised often along my grief journey. It's nice. Just take a deep breath and go with the flow. I'm still practicing. The next part of Joan Halifax's meditation is, I accept my sadness, knowing that I am not my sadness. How often has anyone who is grieving said, I am sad, or I am afraid? It's like sharing a feeling and then gesturing to all of you. I do believe that it can sometimes seem like every fiber in your being is sad or afraid or angry or yearns or is lonely. But I feel sad. I am not sad. Everything is impermanent, and knowing that I am not my sorrow gives me a chance to understand what is happening in the moment and to change. The prophet Rumi wrote, "This being human is a guest house. Every morning a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Even if they are a crowd of sorrows and violently sweep through your house empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honorably. They may be clearing out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide. The meditation continues with, may I forgive myself for mistakes made and things left undone. As time continues, I don't know about y'all, but I would begin to regret that I didn't make that visit. I didn't give them a call when I thought about it. I forgot someone's last birthday. Or did I give my loved one the time they needed to heal? I know from hearing from some of you that this is a big one. Whatever the mistakes or regrets that you have, it takes a lot of energy to cope with the would'ves, should'ves, and could'ves. Unfortunately, as stated previously, there is nothing that can be done to change the past. And letting it affect the future only creates greater suffering. Cicero wrote that the life of the dead is now placed in the living. Memory is the treasure and guardian of all things. So what can we do for our loved ones now? We can carry on their legacy. We can remember them with rituals like the one we are about to perform, or do simple things in their memory. My father loved, and I cannot say loved with more emphasis, coffee. The man was never more than a foot from his coffee cup. When he moved here, we would go on coffee dates. It was nice. Now, whenever I have a cup of coffee, I have a cup with him. I talk to him, sometimes out loud. I hear him tell me I'm killing him by putting cream and sweetener in my coffee. His life has been placed in me, and I honor it in all the ways I can. I forgive myself for the mistakes I made or the things left undone by doing the things I can do now to honor him. The meditation by Joan Halifax comes to an end by asking, may I be open to receive the kindness of others as they support me in this journey of grief. Grief can feel lonely and isolating. It can often be terribly difficult to feel safe to let someone in to show us kindness. Henri Nouwen wrote about the ideal friend. The friend who can be silent with us in a moment of despair or confusion, who can stay with us in an hour of grief and bereavement, who can tolerate not knowing, not healing, not curing. That is a friend who cares. Thank you all for being that person here tonight with each other, holding a little of each other's grief and honoring the person they loved as they honor yours. As you leave this evening, remember to give that grief back with love and compassion, as they will with yours. My hope is that all of our grief will be a little lighter as we make our way home. Remember, as the days and weeks move forward, you are not alone. Thank you.
I think of you when I think about forever. I hear a joke and I know you would have told it better. I think of you out of the blue when I'm questions. Is there a bar up there where you have a favorite chair, where you sit with friends and talk about the weather? Is there a place you go to watch the sunset? No, is there a song you just can't wait to share? Yeah, I know you'll tell me when I get there. Oh, do you think of me? Do you wish that I would slow down? Are there some things that you've seen that feel like home now? Are you up there climbing trees, singing brand new melodies? I hope you are. I know you are. Is there a bar up there where you've got a favorite chair, where you sit with friends and talk about the weather? Is there a place you go to watch the sunset? No, is there a song you just can't wait to share? Yeah, I know you'll tell me when I get there. Oh yeah, you'll tell me when I get there. Will you save me a place with all those pearls of wisdom? Yeah, I've made some mistakes, and you'll watch me as I live them till I'm through, till I'm with you. Is there a bar up there where you've got a favorite chair, where you sit with friends and talk about the weather? Is there a place you go to watch the sunset? No, is there a song you just can't wait to share? Yeah, I know you'll tell me when I get there. I think of you when I think about forever.
Following this candle lighting ritual, Full Circle staff and volunteers will go to the edge of each row to light everyone's candles. Please tip the unlit candle to the lit candle. Then, if you will, turn to your neighbor and light their candle. In this way, we pass the light that moves out of darkness between all of us. Whenever you are ready after that, you may extinguish your candle. Please do not feel like you have to have it lit throughout the whole reading of the names, especially if the wax is dripping. Know that even though you extinguish the flame, you can never extinguish the love. As we light these 5 candles in honor of our loved ones, we light one for our grief, one for our courage, one for our memories, one for our love, and one for our hope. This candle represents our grief. The pain of losing you is intense. It reminds us of the depth of our love for you. This candle represents our courage to confront our sorrows, to comfort each other, and to change our lives. This candle is in your memory. The times we laughed, the times we cried, the times we were angry with each other, the silly things you did, and the caring and joy that you gave us. This candle is the light of love. Day by day, we cherish this special place in our hearts that will always be reserved for you. We thank you for the gift your living brought to us, each and every one of us. And this candle is the light of hope. It reminds us of love and memories of you that are ours forever. May the glow of your flame be our source of hopefulness now and forever. We love you.
Thank you very much for giving us the honor to read your loved one's name. We will do our very best to pronounce the names correctly. Please forgive us if we make a mistake. Michael Blaise Daoub, Danison Julius Adele, Robert Lapsley, Shirley and Welby Staten, Lawrence W. Rourke, Pauling S. Peter Stewart, Dr. Martin H. Greenberg, Peter L. Iote, Lieutenant Colonel, retired, United States Army, Bo Addox, H. Victor Weston, Daniel Deloach, Elma Gill, Joseph Jojo Brune III, Francesca Sanders, Dorothy Creed, James Goethe, Kenneth H. Edgehill, Bobby Tucker, Glenn and Lois Liege, Kiki Charles and Ray Wendelkin, Frank Cabela Jr., Mary B. Conway, the Langdon family, Gary Linderman, Dorothy Linger, Felicia McLean, Kelvin McCoy, Sheila Mary Hildebrand, Mildred and Paul Jurgensen, Beatrice and Abraham Gershbein, Ida and Anthony Maluski, Francis and Florence Allegretti, Stephen D. Tootle Sr., Sam D. Tootle II, Monica Young, Robert Mays Ochen, Mr. and Mrs. Horace Hampton Lasith Sr., Mr. and Mrs. Thomas Anthony Meehan, Mr. and Mrs. Robert D. Wheeler, Mr. and Mrs. Ralph C. Beach, Mr. and Mrs. Thomas Russell Meehan, Mr. Jack Coriel Lasith, Mrs. Patricia Meehan Lasith, Kenneth and Jean Beltramini, Mario and Lucy DiPietro, Robert Harborn, Stefan Borsavich, F.D. Rabbit Royer, Elzuda Boudreaux, Renee Neesmith, Bill and Marilyn Engelhaupt, Stephen E. Revelle, Michael E. Sprouse, Betty Sue Taylor, Mima, Raymond Taylor, Bunn, Dr. Paul Totfeld, Juanita Z. Varel, Seth Raymond Clark, Samuel D. Roxburgh, Carol E. Tutan, Homer and Diane Coombs, James and William Connolly, Bernice and Frank Jackson, Tracy Finger, Arthur E. Marble, Grover Columbus Rogers, Arlene Edwards, Lloyd White, Nancy Wilcox, Arthur William Wilcox II,
Leo and Kathleen Spivey, Diane Phillips, George Eddings Archer Jr., Nell Archer Congdon, Marlene Mincy Ball, Leroy Beasley Sr., Haskell Beasley, Charles Beasley, Marietta Floyd Green, Julius Green, William Horace Jones, Martha Miller Whitehead, Jackie Hall, Rebecca Becky Bostwick, Lorraine Bostwick, James Jim D. Buffalo, Mr. Leo E. Center, Mrs. and Mrs. Seymour Candle, Bob Contino, Mrs. Mary Jordan Cook, Chris Ellington, Jamie L. Williams, Mary Gillis, Mattie George, Doris and Marie Wallace Hayes, R. B. Hayes, Samuel B. Adams, Marjorie Lamar, Gordon Pasco Phillips, Len Winter, Steve Holenberg, Lonnie and Betty Morgan, Nell Burke, Mary Burke, Katrina Adele Bakewell, Amanda Jeter Adams, Joyce Lee, Melba A. Lee, John Brannon, Larry R. Messner, James H. Hill Mills, William Monroe, William and Julia Mueller, Randy Ray Neiman, Mr. and Mrs. Elmer Howard Sr., John W. Payne Sr., James and Sarah Perry, Al T. Stevens, Karan Bostic, Carmen D. Potter, Elaine Spengler, Lloyd D. Thompson IV, Ben Williams, Thomas C. Welch V, Dorothy Grubbs, James Allen Hears, Fred Hoffman, Edgar Thomas Jr., and Lolita Sweet.
Loved members of Asbury Memorial and Wesley Oak churches, Albert R. Andres, Margaret Archibald, Michael Scott Walden, Joseph L. Weatherby, Lauren Jones, Jack and Phyllis Mitchell, Lloyd and Lucy Dunbar, Ruth and Ernest Wall, W.E. and Lucille Wise, Audrey Nell Tucker, Matthew Cranman, Sadie Esther Cooperman, Ribert Brennan, Rebecca Felton Meyer, George Thomas, Charlene Crawford, Viola Wiggins, Muriel Carnegie, Terry Diane Ferguson, Bobby Glenn Fripp, Lucille B. Hendry, Ben Heron Jr., Barbara N. Hetherington, Adele Gibbs Creeley, D. Angel, Eleanor Hay, Jean Keller Fair, Vera Hayes Fields, Clarence C. Fields, Romy L. Fields, Brenda Fields Reynold, Essie Palmer Lumpkin, Busey P. Stokes, P. Preston Stokes Jr., B. Preston Trey Stokes III, Cracker Stokes, Monica Stokes, Emma S. Withington, Karen L. Edenfield, George Adam Keller, Deborah Grace Parmer, Thomas H. Reynolds III, David King, Ian Timothy Brunner. Dorothy Harper McGrath, Mr. Cordy Wright Sr., Elizabeth L. Jackson, Mary Clody, Daniel F. Mullen, Jesse L. Underwood Sr., Almond Mullen, Rachel Phillips, Thomas Sanders, Rex and Annette Miller, Mrs. Sarah V. Matt Hall, Dale and Louise Huseman, Dale and Lois Huseman, Calvin D. Palmer, Carl Simpkins, Nancy Strobel, Ethel and Walter C. Carson, Manis Honerline, Karen Zimmer.
Les L. Wilkes, Alma Driggers Gill, Linda Broderick, Terry Brown, Ty Burnsid, Jay Epstein, Dale Kreitz Sr., Robert Denny Coulter, Dudley A. Cheney, Benny Cox, Francis L. Cox, Linda Cox Proper, Paul Grassi, Eunice Kelly Reynolds, Sandy Boyd, Patricia Sue R. Homans, Albert Strickland, Samuel M. Webb, T.C. Atkinson, Catherine Jonas, Major and Mrs. W.S. Turner, John R. Turner, John R. and Elizabeth McLaughlin, William M. Mock, Jr., Sandra J. Mock, Jane and William M. Mock, Sr., Edna and John W. Waddell, Sr., William Bubba Mock, Jr., Catherine Elizabeth Norton McRae, Christopher Robinson McRae, Ann S. Mosher, Terry Timmons, Jean C. Remley, Catherine Roach, Marilee Short, Frank K. Peoples, Virginia E. Simmons, Lonnie L. Tucker, Richard E. Valentine, Sonny Smith, Sarah Murrin, John Clanton, Mary Lou Johnson, Emma Jean Thomas, Flora Mae Drake, Jim McGrady, Jolly L. Stevens, Roberta M. Smith, M.D., Karen Granful, and all those in need of support. Yolanda Motley Whitfield, Sonny Kirby, Hugo Alistair Hendricks, Loy Wynn, and the Reverend Earl and Audrey Camerood. Thank you.
Nobody knows how to say goodbye. It seems so easy till you try. Then the moments passed you by. Nobody knows how to say goodbye. Nobody knows how to get back home. When we set out so long ago, search the heavens and the earth below. Nobody knows how to get back home. Through the darkness to the dawn. When I look back, you were gone. Heard your voice leading me on. Through the darkness to the dawn. Love is deep as the road is long. Use my feet to carry on. Beats my heart when you are gone. Love is deep as the road is long. Nobody knows how the story ends. Live the day, do what you can. This is only where it begins. Nobody knows how the story ends. Nobody knows how the story ends.
Good evening. I'm Kathleen Benton. I'm the CEO here at Hospice Savannah and the Demery Center for Living. And I'm not going to keep you very long because I know after tonight it's a beautiful ceremony and we're all probably pretty emotionally drained. I'm so proud of the staff here because I have nothing left to say. They've done such a great job of, I think, expressing all of the emotions that grief really gives us, the loneliness and the difficulty and the challenge that it is. But I am so proud to be a part of an organization that can give our community this kind of support. I promise you, it is not in every single community. And the words that I'll leave you with is that you have to remember that grief is a roller coaster. And you don't know when you're going to hit a major curve or feel like you're just going backwards after feeling much, much better than you thought you were. And for that reason, we're here all the time. So it doesn't matter if you've just lost your loved one or if years and years have passed and all of a sudden there's just a lot of barriers in your life. That is what grief is. And your only job is to acknowledge that you shouldn't have to do it alone. And that's why we're going to always stay here, so that you never have to do it alone. So be good to yourself and remember that this is life and we're here to do it together. Thank you for being here.